Some people say you can't teach compassion. I actually don't believe it. I think compassion is within everybody. It's just a matter of taking the time to let it come out. It can definitely be taught, and it doesn't take a lot of skill. Compassion is one of the easiest parts of medicine. It's just being you. It's being a person who is present for another person. We all do it. We do it in all parts of our lives. So compassion is medicine. It's just bringing that to the hospital or the office or wherever you might be. It's saying, how are you? And you stop and you make eye contact and you listen. That's easy. It is easy. You have to slow down. Maybe that's what it is. And I think if you embrace it, you'll never fall out of love with medicine, no matter how hard it gets. I don't do this to be thanked. I do this to help patients and families. Does it fulfill me? Absolutely. Does it bring me great joy? Absolutely. But I'm not looking for the thank you. I'm just looking for the best possible outcome for every patient and family. And if I can have a role in that, awesome. That's what I'll do.
The recipe for longevity and success in medicine is compassionate communication. The compassion makes it less likely you will burn out, not more likely. The workforce strains now have never been greater. They just haven't been. And I think the onus is on us to make sure that our providers understand the importance of compassionate care and the impact that has, not just on patients, but on our colleagues and on the future of medicine. And I wish that message could be screamed from the highest mountaintop. Empathy is beginning to imagine how tough it is to go through what you're going through as a patient and as a provider. And then compassion is operationalizing empathy. And so our compassion cart is filled with nice little goodies, everything from lip gloss to Snickers bars. So instead of being in my chair, in my office, I'm at the patient's bedside, I'm with the provider, I'm checking in with the clinician and saying, how's it going? Does anybody need a visit today? Is there something that you need that you don't have right now? The cart is simply an excuse. And the excuse is saying, we're thinking about you, but now we want to have a conversation. We want to check in and see how you're doing. And so when you're doing that, the message is abundantly clear that we're in it together. We're part of a team. It's being kind and compassionate and using that cart to deliver that message. And I think that's vitally important to our providers and our patients.
As a nurse, your best skill is to listen. But listening also means listening and listening. And sometimes people are saying something, but their behavior kind of means something else. So if I can tap into that, but sometimes being present is just being present. It's a moment of silence. It's not always talking. It might be, if I'm sensing that they're not wanting to talk about what's happening in the moment, tell me about yourself. What's your favorite food? What did you do in your life before then? Tell me about your culture. So many different things that you can do to make somebody feel connected. And for me, that's being present. I think that is one of the most compassionate things that I can do. But compassion comes in all different kinds of forms. If I go in and I'm working with my patients and they feel heard, I don't think that there's anything more compassionate than feeling understood, feeling heard, feeling like you're going to be taken care of. And I think there's something that we often overlook called humor. If I can make a patient laugh in some of their last moments, I feel like I did my job. But that's part of having this connection. I think in order to be in the line of work that I do, and anybody who works in medical, is that you have to have a small understanding of the nature of suffering so that you can have this ability to be empathic with the people that you work with the patients that I work with, so I can be present. And it's just amazing how we're able to change the course of care that we're doing, or help people get to a place of acceptance of what's going on, or at least dampen some of that fear.
I think that compassion's role in medicine is helping us remember our humanity. I honestly struggled a lot when I was a trainee, going from my general pediatrics residency. My first fellowship was pediatric critical care. The first few months were so heavy and they were so hard, and I didn't think that I could keep going. I thought, this is like not for me. This is so unfair. These children are innocent. They didn't do anything to deserve this. And I think it's hard to be compassionate with someone else when you're feeling, exhausted and emotionally drained. And it took me so many years of meeting family after family after family to really revel in the mystery and the awe and the humility of the human spirit. I get emotional even talking about it, but to really be humbled by these families that unite in strength. I don't know where they get it from. They deep down in their heart and their spirit, they pull out courage and hope and love and community and unity. And it has been so inspirational to see they can transform that pain. We can create something bigger than us and better than us that can help the next person. And through that, it gives it real purpose. And so I think that compassion grounds us in our common collective humanity. It grounds us in our connectedness and our purpose. And it sort of gives it a home base and brings it all back to the patient.
So first and foremost, I am a chaplain. And as a chaplain, I provide spiritual and emotional support. I serve as a companion and a guide for patients. The hospital events can be very devastating. People come to the hospital feeling anxious, fear of the unknown. They don't know what their diagnosis is going to be, what the prognosis is going to be. So there is a lot of anxiety in waiting to know what is to come. So that fear of the unknown makes people very uncomfortable. And sometimes people come to the hospital, and when they get hospitalized, they feel like they've lost everything. They've lost control, they've lost their identity, they've lost independence. Just the simple daily activities of living, they can no longer do for themselves. They have to ask someone for help. And that can be very embarrassing. So my role as a chaplain is to be with people in those moments. Compassion for me is meeting people where they are at, entering into their stories and being with them in those moments. When I do that, I come in with my whole self, because I know if I don't bring my whole self, I will not be able to listen. And I don't listen only with my ears, but I also listen with my heart. And to me, in that moment that I listen to someone with real attention, that is when the connection takes place. And to me, compassion is that connection, that connectedness with the human spirit.
The population here in the VA system is all veterans. The majority are men and the majority are older, but not necessarily either. There are a lot of psychiatric issues and psychological issues that are probably more pervasive than the general population. The one that we commonly see is PTSD. We have to be a little bit more aware of it because we can see it more often in our population. People have specific wishes at the end of life. Like a couple of the vets were in bowling leagues and they're not physically capable of getting to a bowling alley. So we had a contractor come in and set up a bowling alley. So as we speak, and people are bowling in the hall right now, we've had people do weddings here. People have gone to casinos and they've gone to reunions and that sort of thing. We've been able to make a lot of people's final wishes or things that they wanted to do come true as they approach the end of their lives. And it feels pretty meaningful. The final salute is one of the most moving things I've ever been a part of. After a veteran passes, we play taps and with the family, walk them off the unit and salute them as they go. I think we're very lucky that we have a very broad team that has a lot of experience, is very compassionate and caring. End-of-life care is synonymous with compassionate care. It's impossible to do this type of care without compassion. And you could try, but you wouldn't do it for very long. It has to be more or less a calling. I can say for everybody here it is. They've dedicated their lives to this kind of work. It's an amazing thing to see people working together towards a common goal that feels very important to everybody involved.